Now that you have set up and installed Android Studio, we will have a basic intro to our editor. As mine is a Linux system, the editor will be a bit different, but don't worry, you will figure it out once you are there. Now we will launch Android Studio and start a new project. In Create a New Project wizard, the first step is to configure your project, and you can configure it to the kind of device you are going to write the project for. As beginners, we will focus on phones and tablet session. Here there are activities you can define. Basic activity like what you see in WhatsApp. Empty activity is the best for us. In the next window, you will provide the name of the application, the package name. The package name is the name given to the old package, specifically company names are given here. Next, you provide the location where you have to store your app. Language. Your language is going to be Java. Android Studio also gives an option to code your app in Kotlin. If you are interested in Kotlin, to learn that, but for now, time being, we'll focus on Java. The API level. So the API level, API are application programming interfaces. The specified level will include packages and modules that your app will use to communicate with the Android OS running on your device. What you have to notice the level of API you are choosing. The corresponding Android version for each API will be displayed. If you are going to build an app with API 27 and you cannot deploy it on a Lollipop device. Also, if you choose the least, say API 18, then you may not be able to do some functions, so always be careful choosing the apt device. Now click on finish. Now make sure that you are connected to the internet so that the required API are installed and the build Gradle gets synced. So yeah, now that our project is started, what you see at the center is the workspace that you are going to work.
So again, as you see, our project has started. What you see at the center is the workspace you are going to work on to develop your project. So on the right you have different directories of your project. On the bottom you have different processes that are going to be displayed. So let's have a look at the directories we have. We have two main directories, the app directory and the Gradle scripts. First we will look at the Gradle scripts. So particularly in the Gradle scripts, we are going to see about the build.gradle file. So in the build.gradle file, the only thing you are going to edit as a basic programmer will be this, especially if you are going to publish your app on the Play Store. You will have to change the version code or version name as per your convenience. For example, you are going to update update your application multiple times. You need to give version code so that it will be helpful for Play Store to configure your files. So also you are going to build dependencies or implementations. For example, if you want your application to install maps within it, you have to add certain dependencies and implementations for installing that map. So that particular implementations you will be doing within this build.gradle file. Others you won't be touching them as they may cause grievous errors. Only this build.gradle module app file is something you are going to edit throughout your development as a beginner. So next we will look into the app directory. So in the app directory you have Java file. So the Java file is something that is going to run on the background of your application. So in your Android application, your XML is going to be something that is going to be displayed to the user, and your Java file is something that is going to be in the behind, and that is going to control your XML file or do processes behind. So I have created error, so that is why you are seeing a red line, especially in the main activity.java file. So we'll discuss about the error later. So this is the Java generated file. Throughout your application building, you are not going to touch this Java generated file ever. This is a system generated file, and never ever touch it. The rest directory is where you are going to store your resources for your for your Android development. So this is the drawable file. Drawable file consists of different, for example, you want to add an image as an icon, or if you want to add an image within your views, like somewhere in your views, you have to copy that particular image and add it into the drawable file, so that it is easy for you to navigate it. So this is the layout file. So in Android development, you will have a particular layout file for each Java file. So the XML file, that is the layout file, is going to define how your particular application is going to look, and the Java file is going to control it from the behind, simple as it is. So next is the values file. Values file consists of colors.xml, string.xml, styles.xml, 3 files. First let's look into the colors.xml. So as you see, this is something that I have defined of my own. Just ignore that. Primarily you will have color primary dark, and color accent. This is also an XML file. So the color primary is going to be something that is displayed on the topmost bar, or the topmost whatever you give, whatever color you give here is going to be displayed on the topmost bar. So these are the different colors that you are going to be using. So just mention color primary. For example, just mention color at color dot splash screen. That particular color will be inserted. If you want it as background, just give it as background at color slash splash screen. That's all. That's all it is about colors.xml. You are going to define your color here with a particular name. That's all is. So next is the strings.xml. So the strings.xml file consists of holds various strings. So the reason behind why we have the string.xml file is that if your app is going to be an international app and you are going to publish it in, for example, say France, and people who use their phones in France may be having French as their device's language. So if your app is in English, if your XML, that is the XML corresponding to main activity.xml, is displaying in English, then it is going to be difficult, or it is never going to translate your English into French. So it is a must that you have to include your strings within the string.xml, so that whenever Android interprets this particular, it converts it into the native language in which the device is. So these are the directories available in Android Studio that you are going to use as a basic Android developer.
So now we will discuss about testing and running our app. To test and run our app after development, generally there are two methods. One is using our phone, other is using an virtual device. So to use your phone to test your apps, just connect it via USB, enable developer options. Under developer options, enable USB debugging. So when you do that, the computer will ask you for an RSA key. Give the RSA key. So in modern phones, the RSA key will be automatically verified, or you will be asked to verify the RSA key manually. When you do that, your device will be displayed here on the top bar. Then press on the start button. So you will see the Lockcat starting your application. You will see the Lockcat running necessary files, and shortly you will have your application installed to your phone where you can test and deploy it. However, it is not always recommended that you deploy and test your apps on your phone, because if your code does not work properly, then there is a good chance that your Android OS may get affected. So it is always a good idea to install a virtual device. So to install a virtual device, just go to Tools, AVD Manager. So you'll have your virtual devices wizard starting. So click on create the virtual device. So you have various devices you can install as a virtual device, like TV, phone, Wear OS, tablet, and automotive. So select the phone and click on your phone, or click on the preferred phone you want. Click on next. Now you have different API levels for your phone. So select the highest one, accept, click next, and then finish. So after the system image is downloaded, just click on finish. Now I'm not doing that. However, then your virtual device will be set up. So your virtual devices will be displayed here. Select the one and then just click on run to run on that particular virtual machine.
Now if we create an error on the Java file, let's see what happens. I'm taking out this main activity. So as you see, again there is a red line, red underline, the area which as errors has been underlined red. Also in the top bar you can see which part and which directory is as the error. Also here you can see how many errors and how many warnings are found. Now let us try building the app. See, you can see the error over here in the build. Also logcat, you can see how many have been skipped, how many applications or how many activities have been skipped. So this is all about responding errors. So Android Studio gives you all the details about where the applications or where the errors are, how many errors are found. Also the logcat and the build can be used for debugging the errors. You can also always use the Alt plus Enter feature, the autocomplete feature in Android Studio to do certain functions. That's all is about responding.